More denials and lies from the I don't know administration. But now the president's approval numbers are dropping like a rock. According to a new Associated Press poll, just 37% approve of the job the president is doing. 53% disapprove. With me, Republican strategist Ford O'Connell from D.C. and Democratic strategist Richard Fowler. All right, Ford, I'll start with you. These are some of the lowest numbers in the history of this country. What does it all mean?
I think it's a pox on everyone's house, congressional Republicans, congressional Democrats, and President Obama. What the 37% approval rating for President Obama proves is that he is a weak and ineffective leader who basically likes to use public panic and division to achieve his progressive goals. I mean, why else would you deny military benefits? Why else would you shut down the World War II memorial for honor flights? All he's about is the pain game and winning. And frankly, congressional Republicans made a huge mistake by shutting down the government or agreeing to the triple dog dare over Obamacare because he was going to protect this at all costs. They should have turned to the debt ceiling because basically we have a $17 trillion debt. And we got to do something about it.
Well, and you know, it was almost a waiting game where it seems that the administration said, you know what, just wait it out and then we'll go right to the debt ceiling. But Richard, this is a mess. You have to agree. Death benefits, Syria, Benghazi, the IRS. I mean, is this about incompetence and the lack of leadership?
Hey, listen, no, thanks for having me, Judge. I really appreciate being on again. I got to tell you, I think this has less to do with the lack of leadership is on the House of Representatives. John Boehner has not been able to lead his caucus since day one. He can't lead it today.
The president is the leader of the country. I don't want to talk about Boehner. I want to talk about this administration.
But our government is shut down, Judge,
Boehner isn't the one who didn't send people to Benghazi. Boehner isn't the one whose IRS is targeting people. This is about the president who has one of the lowest poll numbers in the history of this country. So I'm going to ask you a question again. In another poll, if 60% of Americans say that every member of Congress should be fired, I mean, this is a lack of leadership and a lack of working together. I'll go back to you, Richard. Can you answer it?
I completely agree with you, Judge. I think every member of this Congress should be fired, including Ted Cruz and Mike Lee, who led this country down a path that led to almost a 10-day shutdown and a possible default on America's debt. And that's horrible.
You still refuse to talk about the president.
Richard is doing the liberal yarn, which is blame everyone but the administration.
Well, yeah. I mean, for 5 years, this president is blaming George Bush. I mean, leave the guy alone at this point. Richard, is there a lack of leadership? Shouldn't this president be rolling up his sleeves and negotiating as opposed to saying, I'm not negotiating, but he negotiates with Iran? Are you kidding?
What we've seen from this president is leadership. Not only have we created jobs, but beyond creating jobs, this president has come to the table. He's created 47 million jobs. But beyond that point, he has come to the table. He has come to the table with Republicans and tried to negotiate them. But you cannot negotiate with people that aren't willing to negotiate. And that's part of the problem. And Ford knows it's true. You can't negotiate when Republicans are not willing to come to the table with any sensible type of negotiation.
Okay, so you don't show up for the negotiation because you know ahead of time. Ford, what do you say to that?
Hope and change has clearly become blame and shame. This administration doesn't want to lead, and at the end of the day, we cannot default. We got to get there, but we have a $17 trillion debt. We're borrowing $2 billion a day. We got to get entitlement reform along the way that Paul Ryan is basically put forth, and this administration is going to dig in their heels. They have no interest in solving America's problems. All they're interested in is pinning the tail on House Republicans.
Listen, neither the president nor Democrats will negotiate on the backs of middle-class and working families.
Stop all the talking points and answer the question. What does this mean for the 2014 midterm elections? What do you think, Ford? Start with you.
There's no way the Republicans are going to lose control of the House. At the end of the day, we're going to have to relitigate Obamacare at the ballot box in 2014 because basically most Americans have no idea it's out there. And Republicans are going to have to improve their brand and basically become defenders of the middle class.
I'm running out of time. Richard, what's going to happen in 2014?
2014, Democrats take back control of the House because Republicans they can continue to relate Obamacare all they want to. At the end of the day, the people have already decided on it.
Got it. Richard, quick question. If you can't sign up for Obamacare, how are you going to get the health care?
Listen, people will be able to sign up for Obamacare, healthcare.gov.
Yeah?
You sign up, you get in the exchange, you get the healthcare that you need.
Ford, Richard, thanks for being with us this evening.
Thanks, Judge.
All right, and coming up, how many of you guys out there just want to get away from the wife and spend a night with your friends? A friend? Yeah, I thought so. But fake your own kidnapping to make it happen? And this is your last chance to vote in tonight's Insta poll. What should happen to Defense Secretary Hagel, who refused death benefits to soldiers killed in action? Facebook or tweet me at Judge Jeanine.